Officially formed in 1921, Marine Band San Diego has performed inspiring renditions of traditional and contemporary music for millions throughout the world. Each member of the band has completed recruit training, Marine combat training, and actively maintains combat skills, giving true meaning to the title Marine Musicians. The band is under the direction of the officer in charge, Chief Warrant Officer 2 Megan Harper, and is led on the march by the drum major, Gunnery Sergeant Wesley Hayes. For 250 years, Marines have served honorably in every clime and place. From the shores of Tripoli to the valleys of Afghanistan, Marines have always been the most ready when the nation was least ready. Founded on November 10th, 1775, the United States Marines have prided themselves on living their motto, Semper Fidelis, or always faithful. Please join us in celebrating 250 years of the Marine Corps' faithful service to our nation as Marine Band San Diego performs O. Henry by Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Nolan, Director of the President's own United States Marine Band. Spiritual fitness is a core aspect of Marine Corps resilience. When the Saints Go Marching In originated as an African-American spiritual anthem and has become a staple of American music. It is often performed in a celebration of life, family, and community. We welcome you to Marine Corps family. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the march on and honors to the Commanding General for Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego and the Western Recruiting Region, Brigadier General David C. Hyman. Accompanying him is the Sergeant Major of Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego and the Western Recruiting Region, Sergeant Major Orangel A. Levy. It is customary for all active duty members to render a salute during the playing of honors to commanding officers. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me for the rendering of honors to the Commanding General for Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego with the Western Recruiting Region. Thank you. Please be seated. The depot, which consists of 388 acres, is the Corps' oldest West Coast installation and has a recruit training mission dating back to 1923. This year, more than 17,000 young men and women will successfully complete our rigorous 3-month training cycle and depart the depot having earned the title Marine. We extend a warm welcome to the families and friends of the Marines graduating from Charlie Company. Distinguished among the graduating Marines is Private First Class Jeffrey C. Richmond, Jr., who was selected as the company honored graduate. While at Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego, Private First Class Richmond was trained by Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Perry W. Clayton, who joins us here this morning. He was recruited by Sergeant Daniel Wells from Recruiting Station Oklahoma City, Recruiting Substation Fort Smith. The highest platoon average primary marksmanship instructor is Sergeant Tristan J. Hermesman, but representing Weapons Field Training Battalion today is Sergeant Samuel Hatton. Also joining us today is the Headquarters and Service Battalion Marine of the Week, Staff Sergeant Maria Garcia, who currently serves as the Postal Chief. We would also like to extend a warm welcome to today's parade reviewing official, the Sergeant Major for Marine Corps Air Station Camp Pendleton, California, Sergeant Major Tricia M. Smith-Levy. Now taking his position is the Commanding General for Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego and the Western Recruiting Region, Brigadier General David C. Hyman. Accompanying him is the Sergeant Major of Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego and the Western Recruiting Region, Sergeant Major Orangel A. Levy. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the colors and remain standing for the playing our national anthem. We welcome veterans and members of the armed forces to join us in rendering appropriate honors with a military salute. For guests who have not served in the military, it is proper etiquette during the national anthem to place their right hands over their hearts, and for those in the audience wearing headgear to remove it.
The colors! Strike 8 bells! Sound one colors! Order! Colors! Sleep! Ready, count!
Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commanding General for Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego of the Western Recruiting Region, Brigadier General David C. Hyman.
Parade! Press! Parade! Press!
So good morning, everyone. Good morning.
I know it's bright and early. We're going to try it again, please, one more time. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a joyous occasion. So let me start off by saying welcome to San Diego, also known as America's finest city. But let me also welcome you to Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, home of America's finest Marines who make Marines. And I want to start off also by telling you thank you. Thank you for waking up early this morning, sounding reveille before most people get up, to join us at today's color ceremony. You see, this ceremony is absolutely about our tradition of raising our colors, but it also offers me the opportunity to thank the many people who made this day possible for 265 Marines of Charlie Company. You see, today is special and it's significant. It's special because the Marine Corps will grow by 265 new Marines. But more importantly than that, the Marine Corps family will grow by 265 new families. That is not insignificant. So today, or later this morning, as your Marines, your loved ones, march across the parade deck, as you think about that and you see and you recognize and you remember who they were before they arrived here, let me just share with you how significant it is to be here today for them. You see, your loved one has accomplished something that 99% of the people that live in these United States either can't do or won't do. You see, there are 340 million people living in these United States, and only about 200,000 Marines on active duty and in the reserves. And so for those of you who dare not do math in public, this means that less than 0.1% of the people living in America today can actually claim the title United States Marine. So your loved one is truly one of the few, and now and forever has joined the legacy of Marines who have earned their Eagle Globe and Anchor on these hallowed grounds of Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego. And while today we celebrate their success, we know and understand they didn't get here on their own. So to the parents with us this morning, I want to thank you for supporting your son's or daughter's decision to raise their right hand to serve this great nation. And in that moment when they took their oath, the commitment they made was not just theirs, it was yours too. So you see, they're going to march across the parade deck later this morning because you've encouraged them, you've written them, you've worried about them, and you have believed in them. And for these reasons, your loved one will soon stand before you, a United States Marine. A Marine that you raised, and by doing so, you have made this nation stronger. The very nation that your loved one, your Marine, now serves. So please, families, parents, loved ones, give yourselves a round of applause. So we have a few special guests that I'd like to quickly recognize with us this morning. First, I'd like to welcome our parade reviewing official, Sergeant Major Tricia Smith-Levy. Sergeant Major Smith-Levy joined the Marine Corps in 1996. For the last 30 years, has faithfully served your nation. She's had a remarkable career, starting off as a personnel clerk, assigned to various units, places like Hanoi Bay, Hawaii, at a reserve unit in the Bronx, New York, and headquarters Marine Corps in Quantico, Virginia, and eventually at 1st Marine Division, where she deployed on multiple combat deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan before being selected as a first sergeant. And as a command senior enlisted leader, she has served in every element of the Marine Air Ground Task Force. She served with the 1 MEF Headquarters Group with the Intelligence Battalion. She served with the Ground Combat Element with 1st Marine Division. She has served with the Logistics Element and 1st Marine Logistics Group. And she has even served with the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing at Marine Corps Air Station in Miramar, California. And when she wasn't leading Marines, she was making Marines. She's a drill instructor, a senior drill instructor, and a former Sergeant Major of the legendary 4th Recruit Training Battalion at the Marine Corps' 2nd oldest post at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Parris Island. And then she also trained Marine officers at Officer Candidate School in Quantico, Virginia. Sergeant Major Smith-Levy, we are grateful that you are here today to celebrate and welcome the Marines and families of Charlie Company. But we're especially grateful for your 30 years to our Marine Corps and our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a warm round of applause and a warm welcome to Sergeant Major Tricia Smith-Levy, who this afternoon will retire after 30 years in the United States Marine Corps. Thank you, Sergeant Major. Also joining us this morning, I normally, as the Commanding General, have the privilege of welcoming members of our local community. But this morning, our local community extends to the great states of Texas and Arizona. So this week, we have hosted about 60 educators, administrators, and coaches from various high schools across South Texas and Arizona as part of our annual Educators Workshop, where this week they've had an opportunity to see firsthand and gain insight to how we make Marines. But I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, before the Marines march across that parade deck, before they step on those yellow footprints, they were in your classrooms and in your schools. So as much credit as we take about creating our next generation of Marines, our next generation of Americans are who they are because of you. So thank you for your support, and thank you for everything you do for the young men and women across these United States. Thank you very much for being here with us this week. In the last group in the audience, I want to recognize our veterans. So I would ask if we have anybody today in our formation or in the ceremony or in the seats today that ever served in the United States military or who is currently serving in the United States military, will you please stand so that we can recognize you? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your service. Thank you very much for being here. All right, so every graduation we have an opportunity to recognize a handful of standout graduates. They are considered our platoon honor graduates during today's ceremony. But only one of those honor graduates has earned the distinction of the company honor graduate. And that distinction goes to PFC Private First Class Jeffrey Richmond from the great state of Arkansas. I had the opportunity to meet his parents and his spouse and his sister yesterday. There is no doubt why that Marine is graduating as the honor graduate. He comes from a house of character and loving parents and supportive parents who represent all the families that are here supporting their loved ones at Charlie Company. They're not here this morning, but they will be at today's graduation. But there are a couple other Marines that I also want to recognize who helped PFC Richmond achieve his goal of becoming a Marine. Every Marine's journey starts with a recruiter. Private First Class Richmond's recruiter, as you heard, is Sergeant Daniel Wells from the recruiting substation in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Sergeant Wells is a radio repair technician assigned to the demanding duty of recruiting duty for 36 months. He and his fellow recruiters, about 1,500 of them, are located in every state west of the Mississippi. Their mission is to find the next generation of Marines, but also to prepare them for the rigors of recruit training. Every day, our Marine recruiters fight for the existence of our Marine Corps. Our ability to make Marines to win our nation's battles starts with the Marine recruiter. So Sergeant Wells, thank you for what you do, and thank you for making this. So once our civilians land on the yellow footprints here at Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego, it is the responsibility of the drill instructors and the officers who lead them to transform these young men and women into the Marines you'll see later this morning. So joining us is a senior drill instructor from PFC Richmond, and that is Staff Sergeant Perry Clayton. Staff Sergeant Perry Clayton is an infantry unit leader, to be more specific, who about 18 months ago was responsible for saving the life of a 14-month-old right here on Recruit Depot San Diego. That's the type of Marines that come from your classrooms. He and his fellow drill instructors and the officers who lead them are responsible for training the 17,000 civilians to become Marines. Countless hours, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 13 weeks, they pour into young Marines. And they say every Marine, when they graduate, will always remember the day they graduated from recruit training. But they will never forget the voice, the face, and the name of their drill instructor. So Staff Sergeant Clayton, thank you for keeping our standards high, and thank you for training these new Marines. We have two more Marines that are just as critical to making Marines here at Recruit Depot San Diego. First is our primary marksmanship instructor, Sergeant Tristan Hermesman. He's not here this morning because that young Marine, that hard charger, that infantry Marine is with his wife, and both of them at this date and time are expecting their first child. But Sergeant Hermesman was also recently recognized as the 2026 Marksmanship Small Arms Instructor of the Year for the Marine Corps. We are extremely proud of him. He and his fellow Marines from Weapons Field Training Battalion are responsible for taking Charlie Company through basic warrior training, the Crucible, and in making sure that we remain faithful to ensuring that every Marine are rifle. In his place today is Sergeant Samuel Hatton, another experienced combat marksman instructor and primary marksman instructor as well. Sergeant Hatton, thank you for what you do, thank you for what you represent, and thank you for making sure our Marines can hit the target. And lastly, the silent partner in the business of making Marines are the Marine sailors and civilians of Headquarters and Service Battalion. Joining us today is Staff Sergeant Maria Garcia. She is the Postal Chief for Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego. She and her Marines are the ones who bring the morale to all the recruits throughout their 13 weeks of training. But she represents those Marines, civilians, and sailors who provide the critical, operational, logistical, and medical support, and sometimes duct tape, to keep these recruits in the fight to become United States Marines. Without these professionals, we simply couldn't do our job of making Marines here. So Staff Sergeant Garcia, thank you for what you do. Good luck to you and your husband as you transition to Okinawa this summer. And so today's ceremony would not be possible without the Marines behind me. The Marines you heard earlier this morning are from the Marine Band San Diego, America's finest Marine band. Trust me when I tell you, they are Marines first and meet all the training requirements of every Marine. They just so happen to be talented musicians as well, led by Chief Warrant Officer Harper and Gunnery Sergeant Hayes. And the centerpiece of this morning's ceremony is our color guard, led by our color sergeant, Sergeant Justin Hamlin. These Marines carry our colors at various events throughout this local community and throughout Southern California. And they are the ones that we first see and carry what we believe is our rallying cry as Americans and our national colors. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to these Marines who represent the civilians, the Marines, and the sailors who are the heart and soul of how we make Marines here at Marine Corps Review Depot, San Diego. So as I mentioned, today is about tradition and legacy. The tradition, as I mentioned, is that in every morning, in every climb and place the Marines are stationed, we raise our colors. And most often than not, when we raise our colors, it's not going to include a band or a ceremony like we saw this morning. But because of our tradition, we do it without fail. And when our colors are raised, we remember what they stand for. Unity and a shared responsibility to serve something greater than ourselves. And when our colors are raised, we are reminded of the oath that we take to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that we will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And when our colors are raised, we remember and honor all those who serve, both past and present. And as Americans, we recognize that our flag represents freedom. And for our allies and partners, our flag represents strength. And for the downtrodden and the oppressed around the world, our flag remains a beacon of hope and opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, for 250 years, your Marines have stood ready and won our nation's battles. Marines like Sergeant Major Smith. This is our legacy. Our legacy is winning our nation's battles. From the Marines who joined the first 2 battalions in Philadelphia, to the Marines who fought in the first 2 world wars, Korea, Vietnam, and to the Marines who fought in the most recent campaigns of Iraq and Afghanistan, and to the 40,000 Marines that are forward stationed and forward deployed today, ready to go into harm's way to fight and win our nation's battles. This is our legacy. And this legacy is what the 265 Marines of Charlie Company now inherit. Sergeant Major Levy and I are proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with your Marines. And we know that your Marines will carry forward this legacy of courage, valor, and victory on the battlefield of tomorrow. Sergeant Major Levy and I are grateful for your presence at this morning's color ceremony, and we are grateful for your presence at today's graduation. But more importantly, we are grateful for your trust, a trust that your Marine will help us earn every day. Congratulations on your Marines graduation. Welcome to the Marine Corps family. God bless, safe travels home, and Semper Fidelis.
rise for the retiring of the colors and remain standing for the playing of Anchors Away, followed by the Marines hymn. For all Marines present and who have served honorably, please join us in singing the first verse as Marine Band San Diego performs the Marines hymn.
Retire the colors!